Informative speech is on Abraham Lincoln, and I'm not going to talk about what everyone knows about Abraham Lincoln. I'm actually going to talk about what people don't know about Abraham Lincoln. So let's just start off. Everyone knows, obviously, he was the 16th President of the United States. Everyone knows him as Honest Abe. He always told the truth. One time he worked at a store and he accidentally charged the people who came in to buy stuff a little too much, so he actually ran after them, gave them their money back, and told them he was very sorry. Everyone knows he wore the top hat, he was very tall, but what a lot of people don't know is about his familyhood and how his childhood actually really affected him as he was growing up. So I'm just going to begin, and Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809 on February 12th. From there he lived in rural Kentucky, and when he was actually 9 years old, his mother had died from milk sickness. But before his mother had died, what happened was when he was going to school, he got the schooling, but his parents did not get that same schooling as well. So he would come home and he would always tell his parents what he learned from school, to try and kind of teach his parents what he learned so his parents could know just as much as he did. His mother was a Christian and always told him stories about the Bible and about God, and his father was just kind of a stern man, but he did tell him jokes every once in a while. So once his mother had died, Abe was 9 years old, and his father actually went on a search for a mother to raise Abe and his sister. So his father actually came back with 3 kids and a widow. And Abe's mother's death really affected him in a great way. He wasn't really happy about having a widow, 3 kids, even though that mother did really take him in as his own. So he really looked to books. He loved to read. He just loved to gain knowledge, even if he was not getting it from school. But a thing that really bothered him was that his father would, I guess you can say, make fun of him. His father used to tell him that your job is to work outside, your job is to not read books, so you really need to stick with that. So that really affected Abe in his childhood. So once he turned 19 years old, he actually went to New Salem, Illinois, and this really stuck with him when he was growing up. On his way to New Salem, he was going down a river, and he actually saw slaves being sold and bought. And from that moment on, he really had a passion about slavery and about everything that had to do with that problem in society in that time. So when Abe was in New Salem, Illinois, he was hired to run a general store. He kind of just did stuff like that when he was that age, but he still was interested in books. So what he did was he kept reading. He became a lawyer. He read about law, so what he loved, he just learned so much about law, and then he eventually became a lawyer, but he was also interested in politics. So what he did was he ran for Senate, and he ran for Congress. A lot of people supported him. Obviously his father wasn't really supportive about it, but he ran for all of that, and then what everyone knows is that he ran for president, and he became the 16th president of the United States. So the biggest thing that most people remember Abe Lincoln for doing was that he preserved the Union, and during the U.S. Civil War he emancipated the slaves. So he emancipated the slaves on January 1st, 1863, and I really think that that time when he was going down the river and he saw the slaves being bought and sold, that really affected him and really stuck with him for the rest of his life. So after he emancipated the slaves, he did have some people who were not really on his side, who didn't really support him, and unfortunately Abe Lincoln was assassinated on April 15, 1865. So I'm not really talking about a lot about his presidency. A lot of people know what he did. Gave you a little bit about it just because a lot of people aren't really sure what he is majorly known for. So he is known for emancipating the slaves. I just really want to talk about his childhood and how God was a part of his childhood, and just how his mother's death really affected him, and just that he read his entire life, even though his father told him that's not what you should do. And in that time, education was really for not for the poor, it was really for the wealthy, so he really stuck with reading, and he really you know, just kind of prove that that's what he wanted in his life, and he lived a great life.